Welcome back to Boring Reviews.
Boring land.
Oh, just kidding.
Blasphemer.
Hello,
right.
Boring Review Nation.
Kind of pointless.
We know all things.
All right, welcome back to Boring Reviews. Nick here, and I'm bringing you another episode of Footy Friday. That's right, I am back from vacation. Do you notice the tan? I don't know if you can. And I'm excited to jump into another Footy Friday segment. And just for those that for some reason you're sleeping under a rock as an AFL fan, you don't know. Oh, my Adelaide is struggling. I mean, honestly, people are very nice in the comment section. They're saying, Nick, it's okay. It's not your fault. It's a rebuilding year, this or that. But they were 3-1. Now they're 4-8. They've won 1 and lost 7. I need 2 hands to show up how many losses they have. Very, very depressing. I hope your AFL team is doing much better. It's got to be more than halfway this season, right? It's got to be. Most teams have played 12. I think they all play on Fridays, so almost all play 12 besides the Giants, Gold Coast, Hawthorn, and North Melbourne. Maybe they all have weeks off, but if you hear the noise in the background, it's my kids just having fun. It just is what it is. Here on a wonderful Thursday for me, Footy Friday for you. I hope you're doing well. Every week I bust out a different reaction for all the AFL fans out there. Thank you so much for checking this out. This is your first time and you like what you see, you want more Footy Friday, more AFL video reactions, check out what I've already posted, and then go ahead and like and subscribe so that you can see what's coming up in the future. This is every single week, like I said. And so today's video, I have it brought up right here. I cannot remember who requested, so if you requested, thank you so much. But this is a video that's already been brought up before I went on vacation, came back. It's waiting for me. It's called Looking Back at the Most Courageous Acts in VFL AFL History. Sunday Footy Show. Hey, Sunday Footy, Footy Friday. I like that. Footy on 9. So I'm assuming this is just a segment. Matthew Lloyd returns to the segment Lloyd's Deep Dive. This is a segment that I'm sure gets broadcasted for those that watch VFL or AFL, excuse me. And that, like, the analysis, just like, comparatively in other sports here in America, we watch the, baseball tonight or NFL game day or whatever it is. So I'm going to go ahead and check this out. It looks like this, when they call it a deep dive, maybe looking back in the past. I mean, that's what's in the title. So I'm excited to check this out. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and watch this right now.
Yeah, Lordo's Deep Dive
Lordo's.
by Unique Wrought Iron, where thousands of Aussies go to make unique improvements to their homes. And, of course, have a look at their website today. Mother's Day.
Looks like the thing
There's
from Double Dare.
Great specials on offer there.
Yeah. So, thanks, TJ. There was an amazing
few weeks ago,
moment
Mother's
that happened
Day.
last weekend. Collingwood didn't have much to celebrate in their loss to the Gold Coast Suns, but there was a mark taken by a young magpie called Nathan Murphy, which is what we're going to tribute the deep dive to today. So this is a great mark. So Nathan Buckley would have shown this over and over and said, I know we got it all wrong, but what about the courage from this young man, Nathan Murphy? So that can really
he did
turn things
180
and inspire teammates.
Oh, he
around
dropped
you.
it.
So
Does
I
that
thought
still
we'd
count as a
take look at
mark?
Some of the most courageous marks and most courageous acts in the deep dive. So
Does
I'm gonna
his
start off
team
with a
get
couple of
the,
teammates of mine. Mark
possession?
Hartley's one of the toughest players I ever played with, arguably the toughest. And this is one of the great marks I have ever seen Mark Harvey. With Mick Martin coming one way, how he got up from that, I could not believe. And this was a young Blake Carousella.
Do you think he knew that guy was coming? Oh, wow.
Really struggling, and
He definitely was a wall right there on that mark, and he sacrificed the body.
Footy ever again. So over to you, Damo. Most courageous mark.
Someone who did a lot in footy is this next man, Wayne Carey. He did
that
this
ended
as
his
much
career?
as any player running back with ability. He always had an ability to protect himself as he did it.
But see how he turns his body?
Yep.
He turns his body right at impact, or not there, but and to protect himself. But he did. Remember, it was Fagan's paddock, and he would run back into it and take these courageous marks.
Bill,
He got
had
punched
anyone
in the
done it
back or
before,
something
Kerry,
there.
like done it
Oh.
to this extent?
Nothing like
He's
this,
on the
no,
move.
Nothing like this.
But I think it created a path.
Jeez,
for
that was
players after
nice.
this one. He's
He does
angry
kinda
with
lead
the
with his
player now
back.
kicking to him,
Yeah.
Damo, and then he turned
Look
and
at
he dominated this game.
This was a final they
Yeah.
won, I think, against your team, Kane, back at the MCG.
Man, how does he look down for a split second and know where everyone's at?
Because it was unbelievable. Going back with the flight at the MCG.
There's a number of them, Brownie. We finished with that one.
We finished with that one. There's a few. Have a look at this one. He is going flat out on that one. Like there's marks where you're going back with the flight and you're not going that hard, but they are John O'Brien going back flat out with no care for his own body. This is the one.
one's unbelievable.
This is. And he just takes a few quicker steps. Like most people, when they get to that position, are slowing up.
Where'd he come
was
from?
Quickening up in those last 3 or 4 metres, and he is courageous.
But he would actually put his own welfare on the line.
Yeah.
Wow.
Training.
He kept that
Bill,
concentration.
you're probably right that Carey protected himself a bit more than Jonathan Brown
He
did.
did.
didn't he?
Yeah.
Held on
Silly.
to it, too.
That's silly from Lego Head.
Well, I think was it Lee Matthews who actually said that? I
Yeah.
think someone said it was.
No, I would have come up with that.
You
would
would
have
have. Are
copied
you
it,
putting
yeah.
yourself on the same level as Lee Matthews?
Yeah,
when it comes
I
to-
probably wouldn't tie his bootlaces.
Lordo, this one's in the conversation. Doesn't get played a lot, but it should be played more often because Stevie J here, look at the score here. He's angry. He was as competitive as anyone. This mark here is absolutely in the conversation with the ones that we have shown, and it doesn't get shown
No, it
enough.
doesn't.
It should be replayed more.
I've never seen that.
It's one of the AFL's great marks ever.
Stewie Jew, isn't it?
No,
Stevie J. Oh,
he's lost a bit of weight.
Hey,
He's lost a bit of
I
weight,
wasn't
Stevie.
suggesting anything about his weight.
All right,
I tell you what, I don't think anyone could ever doubt the courage of Jimmy Bartell, but this particular act just typified it, really. This was actually, have a look at this. He goes back also with the flight of the ball. Just sensational. Now, that might remind you of another mark. i.e. Nick
I guess I saw
Revolt,
padding there on the
to a
landing.
certain degree. This was in the same week as Nick Revolt, so in many regards it actually got overshadowed, didn't it? I mean, but that is a great mark in its own right, Jimmy Bartell.
It was indeed. Another Geelong boy here, Domsey, Tom Lonigan. Now, this is courageous. He lost a kidney in this one here. Oh, I just hate watching it because
That's the one, isn't it?
he's so open. He is so open when he goes for the mark here and just goes back and bang.
Did he really lose a
And
kidney there?
That's when he got rushed to the hospital
Yeah.
and lost a kidney. And
He
well
lost a
done, Domsey.
kidney?
A Geelong teammate recently said he's the most courageous player he ever played
That's,
with.
I mean, that's
he
not
did
an
that
expression, right? I mean, he
countless
literally
times to
lost
time.
it.
Now it's about the most courageous acts on the football field. My favourite game of all time was the '89 Grand Final. It's when I truly fell in love with the game, watching this game. This was the tactics, obviously, Yates coming on at Dermy at the first bounce because they thought Dermy would do it to someone else. He goes back at him afterwards as
Yatesy.
well, yeah.
Bang.
Gets hit hard. And I'll never forget Dermy's response. You know, he was
Jeez,
throwing
that
up
was
out there
elbow.
on the ground. He's in serious pain. And for him to go back with the flight after this and kick that goal, I just loved it. It's what the theatre of this game,
Nice.
the toughness of this game.
Arms
Bill.
behind.
Yeah, it's still to this day my
Makes
most
the goal.
favourite game of all time. And then this one, Gary Ablett.
Nice
Does
hat.
he make you pay? Just smashed him in the kidneys and the lungs. And
He was in trouble, Dipper.
oh yeah,
He
and,
was-
and the courage of Dipper to play through the whole game as they're celebrating. This is Dipper being carried off with a punctured lung,
Just
and then
extraordinary when you think about
it
it.
was. And then you see him in the hospital
Punctured
talking
lung.
through this after the game. He'd forgotten so much of what actually happened in that
my
game.
God.
Priest came and gave him a visit
Yeah.
at one stage. That was a tough game.
Yeah, well.
Gee, we had some injuries after that game. Blokes were sore.
Football as big as the icons as those two gentlemen, Francis Burke, Lordo, at Arthur Street in the early 80s.
You were there, Damo.
I actually was there when he got hit there with that incident here, and he just didn't go up. There was no blood rule back then, as we can see, but they threw him forward, and he started taking marks and hitting goals, and it was intimidating sitting in the crowd watching him be so brave in that particular incident. It made all the front pages the next day, TJ, with the blood all over the face, and
Yeah.
he was as courageous as they came.
Well, one of the toughest footballers ever to pull on a pair of boots, but also one of the nicest blokes off the field is Francis Burke. Hey, I want to take your attention
Reminds
now
me
to the
of Dance with the
1990
Wolves.
Grand Final. This, of course, was Collingwood's premiership
Coat and
year.
hat,
And
damn.
Darren Mullane.
Umpires, bring
he
that
broke
back.
his thumb just prior to this final series, but through injections and the like, he managed to play on. And when that siren goes and he holds that ball aloft, that remains one of the most, can I say it again, iconic images in football history, certainly in grand final history. And then the backstory, you'll hear the siren go in a tick, but then the
some
backstory
mighty short
as
shorts.
to the extent of that thumb injury. And I mean, you guys have all played the game. I mean, you take the thumb out of the equation, it does make things pretty difficult.
Very hard.
It does indeed. Joel Selwood played with a broken thumb last year in the grand final.
say
Hey,
so.
Darren Creswell, remember this? Remember whacking his knee in here? What about that? Go, Creswell.
Oh, my gosh.
He got it. There we go. Just knock it in place
Oh
there.
my gosh.
And then he gets up and jogs away and keeps playing. Sorry for those who are sitting at home having a cup of tea, but that is.
He
It's
just
makes
knocked
you
that
understand,
back in place?
Players and what they play with from week to week. It's staggering. He just got up and kept running.
Wow.
Amazingly, what some of the players do from week to week.
Tough, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, you can't just show that and then have it be so cavalier afterwards. Like, yeah, he just knocked. I mean, he literally knocked it on his own into place. Then he goes running off. That's a man right there. That's a man's man. That's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't live, but one of the craziest things I've ever seen as far as in terms of injury goes. You sometimes see in the NFL, especially the last few years, once or twice it's happened, where a running back has got the ball and he's running with the ball and he gets hit. I think it was Mostert or something like that from the Niners, puts his hand down to brace the fall, and this part goes out that way, just breaks his hand, or this part, I think maybe it was this bone right here. You just see it like crunch like paper. But that was insane. Ronnie Lott of the 49ers, another 49er, in the 80s, they were winning championship with Joe Montana. Before the championship game or the Super Bowl, he had injured his, was it his pinky? I think it was his pinky, one of his fingers. I think it was his pinky, though. And he just told him, it was injured, he was going to be out for a while. And his solution to that, so he can get back and play into the playoff game, was just to amputate it. Just chop it off. Chop it off, cover it up, and let me go. I mean, that's crazy. That's intense. That's insane. Those are some courageous acts, absolutely. And those marks, when you're running up there and you're just putting your whole body at risk to try to catch that football, that's a courageous act, absolutely. The other ones, too, the guy got blood all over his face. Like I said, it reminded me of Dance with the Wolves when Kevin Costner gets hit with the hilt of the gun. The rifle from the American soldiers after he had joined the Native American tribe. But insane. And those marks. It seems like in all the highlight videos, the compilation videos I've watched, it seems like there's several marks that happen. And for these guys to remember from the top of their head, they had the video, so they had some research for it, but to remember these specific ones. My question is, what makes those marks so memorable compared to other ones that are happening live in the sport, every week? What's different about those ones where they're so special and go down as some of the best ever? Is it just a situation? There's got to be more to it than just that. I think one mentioned it was in the finals in the 70s or something like that. It got him into footy. But I want to know what makes those marks so special besides it just being a great athletic play. Getting up in the air and you got a whole crowd of people and you're just diving in there out of nowhere to mark that up. That's my main question. I have some other questions there. If you want to answer those other questions, I really appreciate it. But man, sports is no joke. People say, "Oh, it's just a game. Why do you watch it?" No, these guys are putting everything out there. And as sports fans, we absolutely love it. If my knee was like that, I'm not gonna lie, I'd be freaking out. I don't think I would just go, "Oh, there we go. Right as rain. Let me go." I don't think so. Let me know your thoughts on my reaction, my thoughts on this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in for another Footy Friday. And until next time, adios.